Greetings. It's Wednesday, August 27th. Father Ryan and I are here for the midweek check-in. We just said goodbye to 258 freshman high school students from Notre Dame. They were on our campus having a wonderful time, and it was just good to see them. I laughed. I told Father Ryan the biggest smile I saw on their face was when they got their phones back at the end of the day. But hey, that's life today. That's the way they're connected. But I think in a deeper way, it just says how much the heart longs to be connected. And we got to make sure we're connecting with one another. That's why I always say connect with God, connect with one another. Relationships are important. But today's the feast of St. Monica. And St. Monica was the mother of St. Augustine. Augustine was a little bit wild, and she prayed for him in his conversion for a number of years. And of course, Augustine is one of our great saints. The Augustinian order, which Pope Leo is part of, it comes from that foundation and roots. So a special prayer to all mothers. And let's also pray for any children that have maybe wandered from the faith and are making their paths and understand that God still loves them and is part of their life, but we want their hearts to be open to the mystery of that. It kind of fits well with the gospel this past weekend where Jesus talks about how many will be saved. And he doesn't give a number. He doesn't say, well, there'll be 50 saved or 1,000,000 saved. But rather says it's a narrow door, and it'll be hard for many will try to get through and not all will. And Father Ryan, for what I reflected on this weekend is I said, listen, we all have a seat and the door's open, but we have to live the Christian life. And that means staying close to Jesus and close to his church so that we're practicing our faith, we're keeping our hearts soft in his goodness and his love. When we do fall, we know where we go to. We go to the Lord. We don't try to perfect ourselves. We allow him to perfect us. Right. And it means humility. It means trust. It means surrender, which none of us like, but it's hard. But that's the narrow door. So Eddie, your thoughts, Father Ryan?
No, it's true. And just the importance of why Christ came and established his church, obviously for many reasons, but all for the purpose of giving us everything we need to have that supernatural strength, if you will, that supernatural nourishment that we get mainly through the Eucharist, but also through the other sacraments, through our lives of prayer, the scriptures, everything that Holy Mother Church offers us, all for the sake of having everything that we need to have that strength, to have that grace and the ability to enter through the narrow gate, because salvation is only through Jesus Christ. And so when we are receiving him in the Eucharist and are really calling upon him to help us to detach from everything that's not of him, everything that's worldly, everything that would lead us away from him, then it's something that just really brings, I think, a different realization and a greater awareness and appreciation for all of those blessings, just so that we can truly have and use what we need to enter through that narrow gate.
I mentioned, and I always like this little play on word, that Jesus was discipling us, which means that we're his disciples. He was discipling us, which means there's going to be discipline. It's just not all cut and paste love. There's some discipline in our life, and he is going to point out things that we need to let go of, and that's just part of our journey. That's the narrow door. So in a special way, Father Ryan and we're talking just before we started, we do want to mention what happened in Minneapolis, St. Paul today, the tragic shooting in one of the Catholic schools there. I know I worked with Catholic schools for a number of years down at the diocese. I actually contacted our superintendent today. Just tragic. And there's no words. Obviously, we offer our prayers and, just praying for these young children, the 2 young children that we know at least have passed away, and then all those who were injured. But again, no words. But what I did say, what I sent my note to Dominic is that, a time like this, fear can take over very quickly. And what we want to do is remember that we can't let fear overcome our life. We want to be vigilant and aware and pray for this. But at the same time, just such a tragedy to see this morning. And then to have these kids on campus too, it just, you just want to make sure people are safe. So just know, let's unite ourselves in prayer for the kids and for the young man who it actually shot them. I mean, that's sad, and we have to pray for him. I mean, obviously, no one, he wasn't connected, basically, right? It wasn't connected, and that's what we need to do, connect with Christ and his church in a deep way, not just a superficial way, but really open our hearts to Jesus, to Father Ryan and myself, whatever needs, just to get to pour out your heart's so important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's why I just, if people are suffering in silence, if any of our members of the community are suffering in silence, we want you to open up. We want you to, not be afraid to approach us, to just, if there's something that's on your heart, just, continue to just really entrust yourself to the Lord, and just also to us as well. Just know that we're here for you, we love you, and we're here to serve you.
Yeah. So it's a constant reminder that we don't do it alone. We do it together in Christ, as we say here at our parish, which is really important. We do it together in Christ, and we need to lean on each other. That's the beauty of an ecclesial community. Yeah, we lean on each other. Yeah, we do, actually. We help one another on the journey. So God bless, and have a good day. This Feast of St. Monica. Labor Day is this weekend. The office will be closed on Monday. So a nice long weekend, but we hope to see you on Sunday. And if you are traveling, be safe.
Yes. Have a good day, everyone. God bless.
Blessings.
Enjoy the feast day.